Hi guys, this is Kelly. Hey, I got a request from on my YouTube channel from 99AlexJ99. She wanted to know how I made these tags that were in this album. So I'm going to show you guys it real quick. She suggested, asked if I wouldn't mind doing a tutorial, so that's what I'm going to be doing. But real quick, I wanted to show you, this is a box that I made for the album that I made for my mother-in-law with the Mariposa paper by Die Cuts with a View. Just put some copper paint on there and some gold and Prima flowers and just decorated it up. So that's the box, and then on the side it has some, hopefully you can see that, it's just some ribbon. So it's pretty simple. Just blinged it up a little bit for her. So that's the box for it. And then this right here is the album that I made for her. Hopefully you can see that. I'm in the screen there. But the tags that I got a request on were tags like these little guys. That's just some faux printing around the edge there. But I think the ones that 99AlexJ99 was referring to in her comments, because she said the edges look really cool, was this one here. The lighting in here isn't the best, but this edge here, really simple, super easy to make, so it shouldn't take too long. So I'll show you guys how I do that. So that's where this tutorial is coming from and why I'm doing it. So to make those tags, I actually use my Cricut Imagine, but I use a older Cricut cartridge to cut the tags. And what I use is George and Basic Shapes. That's the cartridge that I use on my Cricut. And it is on page 102, and I use this tag right here, and it is the shadow one. So I cut that out on my Cricut, plain black cardstock at 4 inches. So that's how I get this right here. And kind of works out really well for the album that I made is for she's grandma, so we send her those small size school pictures of grandkids, and these seem to be a really good size to put those pictures on. So that's kind of why I make it this size. So, and there's several in the album for her, so it kind of makes sense because you're always sending him those pictures. So what I do is I just find some paper. What I'm using here is, in case you like it and you want to know where did that paper come from, Glitz Pack Laces with Grace is where I got it. Got it from Hobby Lobby. It's the first time I bought a pack like this, but it's cute paper, simple. But I just chose some simple paper that coordinates well with each other. And the way I do it is probably not the best way. By the way, I want to mention that I got the inspiration for that album. It's a paper bag album, and I got it from Laura at Follow the Paper Trail, her YouTube channel. She's amazing. Get a lot of inspiration from her. But that paper bag album that I made, I want to point out the room in there that she adds in there so that it makes room for your embellishments is such a fantastic idea, and it works out so well. So you can look at Follow the Paper Trail to get directions on how to do these, how to separate these like that. Hopefully you can see that. But she does a great job. She does tutorials, and she's just amazing, very artistic, and her measurements are always dead on. I, on the other hand, am not like that. I eyeball things all day long. So how I did these is, again, I just cut that on the Cricut, and then I just eyeball how I like it, mark it with a pencil, cut the paper, cut it out. So I'll do that super quick for you. I've already got them measured and marked where I want to cut them, so you don't have to sit here and watch me fight with measurements. So there's that one. And then this is really cool paper. Kind of like it. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it has like a antiqued, worn, distressed look to it that isn't overdone. So, and this has some shadowed writing still left on that paper. So this is the side that I would leave for journaling for, you know, the grandkid's name and the age and the year, whatever she would want to put on there. But again, these are tagged specifically for that type of album, is my intention. So let me cut this one out really quick. And again, eyeballing it is probably not the best way to do it, but my measurements just don't seem to work out as well as I would like them to. So eyeballing it and saying, oh yeah, that looks nice to me. That works out better for me. So the other thing I did on this is these edges are rounded. So I round my corners, get my corner rounder really quick. Take care of all that. Looks way better. And then I also, you're probably all doing too, ink it. I do not like that white cut paper look. I think it just looks too, it just doesn't look nice. So I used, I think Vintage Photo, the Distress Ink by Ranger is going to look really nice with this paper. So my sponge has about had it. I just like to go on the edges again just to get rid of that white, freshly cut paper look. I don't like that. You can get as crazy as you want and get it down there and ink all the way in if you'd like. I don't think it makes sense to do on this small tag like that, but it definitely looks great on other tags. So however dark you want to make it, and I'm zipping through this for you because there's better things than to sit here and watch me ink up a little piece of paper. But it's a tutorial, so I'm teaching. So we ink that up. Looks way better. I don't know if you can see that in the video very well, but it takes that, it just makes it look nice and soft on the edge. And then any adhesive you want, obviously. I prefer my ATG gun just because I don't usually run out. And I'm that crazy person at Michael's and Joann's that buys all of it when it's finally in stock, because every time I need it and go for it, I can't find it. So there's that, and you'll notice I left myself a really big border there, and that's where that cool look comes on the edge there that I think she was referring to, wanting to know how that went. I didn't like how that's not as straight as I'd like it to be. And then this on the other side. Put as much as you want on there. It's going to be in an album and it's going to be taken out very often, so you might want to put some more glue on there. I'm just putting it on just so I can show you. So there we go. Looks good. I'm happy with that. A lot of people choose to not finish out that little hole there. I like it. I like to add an eyelet in there. And I'm just going to use a plain, a plain black one. I don't want a shiny one. There's not too much shiny going on with this tag here, so I don't hit the camera. Get my Crocodile 2, I think, yeah, Crocodile 2. And get that in there. I can never get this right. I always either do it too hard. Oops. I always either do it too hard or not hard enough. And now all my black stuff came off, which I really don't care about because I'm going to cover it and I'm going to put a ribbon on there. And I probably should have done it on the other side. That would make more sense to have this part on this side, but honestly it doesn't matter. Most of it's going to get covered up anyway with some more embellishments on there that I'll show you. So I'm inked. I got that done. I don't like how all that pink came off. But what I do on the edges of the black cardstock is I use the Adirondack Metallics acrylic paint dauber. Love, 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 love this stuff. The best. Use it all the time. Gotta shake it up really good. And just adds so much with such little effort. Just need to get it started really quick here. And then just like I'm inking it with a sponge, I mean it's a dauber, so I just go around the edge super fast. Nothing perfect about it. You don't have to worry about putting too much or too little on there, because as long as you're not squeezing it, you're not going to get too much on there. So it's real subtle Just a real subtle amount on the edges just to kind of finish it off. Otherwise it just looks too choppy. So there. Hopefully you can see that kind of shimmering in the, and I do the other side. And the good thing about this paint too is that I'm using it really sparingly. It lasts forever. But it also dries really fast. And I am a very impatient scrapper. And I like that fact that it does that. So there's that. Hopefully that answered the question on that cool effect on the edge. So that's gonna dry. The other thing I do, everyone probably knows how to play with your flowers and get them just right. It's a real simple one. This flower here comes from, in case you are curious, Bitty Blossoms by Basil Basics Paper. It's the garden mix. Real simple flowers, cool colors. That's where I got that from. And then these buttons I got from Dress It Up Grandma's Grab Bag at Hobby Lobby. Super cute. It came with all just random buttons, and I found so many uses for these. This bag was really, really tight, really just packed up to the rim, so I've used a lot of them. And a lot of them are kind of coordinating ones. So, but the problem with using buttons in these is that your album winds up really bulky, because this here is about 3/8 of an inch that you're going to add to, you know, between pages of your album. I don't like that. I mean, I like to leave the embellishment for the really pretty prima flowers that I like to add in my albums. So what I do with these, this one's already done, but I use, it's a simple, like a wire cutter, I guess. My husband's fabulous. He gives me the tools that I need. I say, hey, I need to do this. He's like, oh, here you go. So I just snip that off. What other people like to do is they like to put it through, here I've got a simple one. Other people like to kind of just put it through the hole of the flower. This is another option. An option I don't choose, but it's an option. You put it through there, and you don't have to do that. And then you can tie ribbon around the back, or however you would want to finish that off right there. And that will work too. That there's nothing wrong with that. But again, I don't like the 3/8 of an inch big bulkiness that you're going to add to the album on top of all the other stuff, the photos, the flowers, the metal, I mean all the other stuff that you add to your album. So I personally don't like that. And this is something that I can actually control. So I take some, they're not super heavy duty, they're just like wire cutters, I would think. And I just grab that and I snap it off. Watch your eyes. That flew somewhere. I don't even know where it flew, but you might have heard it. But I just take that right off. So there you go. And it's still on there holding it down. If you needed to squirt some glue in there, you could absolutely do that, which I did it on this one. And this glue is my personal favorite glue. Scotch Quick Dry Adhesive. Love this glue. It dries fast. It's, I just like it. This one works best for me. So, that's how you snip that off, just with some tool similar to this. Wire cutter, I think is what it is. So this one's already cut off. And then wet glue I don't like to add on here because I'm going to be putting it, oops, don't need that anymore. I'm going to be putting it kind of over this after I put the ribbon on. So the wet glue does not work. So what I've found works best for me is just a simple glue dot. So these are the, I forget what size they are, but they're the bigger ones. I think a half size is what it was. I think it's a half inch. That's the bigger size. So I just stick a glue dot on there, center it on there, whoops, center it on there, push it down. Then I'm good. Okay, my paint's all dry. It's been dry for a while. I cut some ribbon, any ribbon you want. Either one of these would look nice with it, but I just cut a small piece of ribbon, and I like to just do a simple slip knot. You can do bows, you can get as pretty as you want. I don't know if you guys fight with bows as much as everyone else, but bows, they either turn it perfect first try or struggling with it for 30 minutes. But this slip knot, super easy. Put it through. Pull it through there. And you're covered up. Spray it out. And it looks super cute. And it looks cute on this side too. So, and this is covered, how the paint came off of that thing. And I don't like how that happened, but it's covered up. And then you take your flower, you could put it right on there. The other thing I like to do, I don't like, again, to put the wet glue on there. It kind of falls through that hole, messes up your ribbon. So I use the glue dots, the pop-up relief. It's going to give it a little bit of dimension that you, again, I just cut off the button, so why would I want to add that? It's a small amount, and I need it to be kind of cushiony. It's kind of squishy because this isn't an even surface. So I can mold it into these areas and still have it room for that ribbon. So this works best for me. Again, you can use whatever adhesive you like, so this is just a suggestion for that. Put it on there. Center it on there. Squish it down and maneuver it around. And then it doesn't come through here, and it also holds your ribbon in place now. So you don't need to worry about that slipping out, because it's got your flower and your ribbon down. So there it is. Super simple, super easy, and it's got the cool little gold edge on there. If you're curious how I did the other ones, I always assume everyone knows this stuff, but these ones with the edge, that sometimes just finishes it off and makes it look nice. I just use the Jelly Roll metallic pens, and I just draw it on there. If you want to sew it on there, good luck with that. Have fun with that. I personally do not like to do that. So there it is. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, let me know. You can add a stamp, you can add journal lines on there, however you want to do it. All right, thanks.